Anybody have any questions?
Yes, Prabhu, one question.
Yes.
Yes. So there are we are distributing books. Many places we are distributing books, but many people take the books, but many people they don't read. They keep it in their rooms or houses, whatever. But how to convince them that you have to read books? Because nowadays we see people are very much addicted to the mobiles. They are everybody I see before sleeping they have to watch the mobile first, and last moment is before sleeping is the mobile only. So what can inspire them to at least last moment before sleeping they have to read the book only, Prabhupada's book. Yeah.
Eh, this very nice question. Kali Yuga is progressing so much. Uh, People are becoming, very much dull-headed, because of the mode of passion. Hmm? People in Kali Yuga, they are manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadritaha. Hmm? This is the position. You can see here in this verse. This verse you can see in the Bhagavatam spoken by Sukadev Goswami. Hmm? How people are very dull-headed in Kali Yuga. You want to read?
So I have a small mobile. I can't read very small letters.
Oh, very
Yeah.
small, huh?
Uh,
Oh, this is very small. Must make bigger. Oh, but the English all you cannot read.
Prabhu, actually, it's fine, I think.
Huh? You cannot read. I can make bigger. How about now? Hello.
yes, bro.
Please read. Prayena alpayusa sabya kala asmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadritaha. So you can read this.
Yeah. O land one, in this iron age of Kali men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed.
So this is the symptom of people in Kali Yuga.
Yeah,
Understand?
yes, bro.
And they are very much interested in sense gratification. You know, they are interested in intoxication. They are interested in women. You know, this is their interest. So in this kind of condition, anything about God consciousness is the last thing they want. You understand? And plus, they don't follow any rules, regulation. Almost all of them have become meat eaters, no? Yes?
Yes, bro.
So in this kind of condition, for them to come So Krishna consciousness is very tough, you know. And plus now with the modern gadgets, huh? Correct. Before the phone came, at least there's some Krishna conscious can say, no?
Yeah.
Huh?
Even devotees are also nowadays. Yeah.
Can you see this verse? Can you read?
Yeah. In the
Read.
age of yeah,
Please.
anybody can.
No, you read.
Okay. In the age of Satya, truthfulness, your four legs were established by the four principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy,
Yeah.
and truthfulness. But it appears that three of your legs are broken due to rampant irreligion in the form of pride, lust for women, and intoxication.
Any other volunteers who like to read the purport?
Yes, I can read. Which the deluding energy or material energy or the material nature act upon the living beings proportionately in terms of Maya. Moths are captivated by the glaring brightness of light and thus they become prey to the fire. Similarly, the deluding energy is always captivating the conditioned souls to become prey to the fire of delusion. And the Vedic scriptures warn the conditioned soul not to become prey to delusion, but to get rid of it. The Vedas warn us to go not to the darkness of ignorance, but to the progressive path of light. The Lord Himself also warns that the deluding power of mental energy is too powerful to overcome. But that one who completely surrenders unto the Lord can easily do so. But to surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is also not very easy. Such surrender is possible by persons who have cultured transcendental knowledge based on the principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. These four principles of advanced civilization were remarkable features in the age of Satyam. In that age, practically every human being was a qualified Brahmana of the highest order. And in the spiritual orders of life, they were all Paramahansa, the top men of the renounced order. By cultural standing, the human beings were not at all subjected to the deluding energy. Such strong men of character were competent. Scroll. Enough to get away from the clutches of Maya. But gradually, as the basic principles of Brahminical culture, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, became curtailed by proportionate development of pride, attachment for women, and intoxication, the path of salvation or the path of transcendental bliss retreated far, far away from human society. With the progression of age of Kali, people are becoming very proud, very much attached to women, and increasingly victimized by intoxication. By the influence of the age of Kali, even a pauper is proud of his penny. The women are always dressed in an overly please scroll up, Prabhu. Attractive fashion to victimize the minds of men. The men are addicted to drinking wine, smoking, drinking tea, chewing tobacco, etc. All these habits are so-called advancements of civilization, are the root causes of all irreligiosities, and therefore it is not possible to check corruption, bribery, and nepotism. You cannot check all these events simply by statutory acts and police vigilance. You have to cure the disease of the mind by the proper medicine, namely advocating the principles of Brahminical culture, or the principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The modern civilization, based on economic development, is creating a new situation of poverty. And scarcity, with the result of blackmailing the consumers' commodities. If the leaders and the rich men of the society spend 50 cents on their accumulated wealth mercifully for the misled mass of people and educate them in God consciousness, the knowledge of the Bhagavatam, certainly the age of Kali will be defeated in its attempt to enter victory.
Your voice is breaking.
Victimize the conditioned souls. Right, or who wants owns values of life. Is it fine?
Voice is breaking.
Yeah. Flower fridge-kulla.
One.
Prabhu, shall I read?
Someone else can read.
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, please.
If the leaders and the rich men of the society spend 50% of their accumulated wealth mercifully for the misled mass of people and educate them in God consciousness, the knowledge of the Bhagavatam, certainly the age of Kali will be defeated in its attempt to entrap and victimize the conditioned souls. You must always remember that false pride or too high an estimation of one's own values of life, undue attachment to women, or association with them, and intoxication of any kind will divert human civilization from the path of peace. However much the people clamor for peace in the world, the preaching of the Bhagavatam principles will automatically render all men austere, clean both inside and outside, merciful to the suffering, and truthful in daily behavior. This is the way of correcting the flaws of human society, which are very prominently exhibited in the present moment.
So see, this is the solution, you know. The solution is that we must preach Krishna consciousness to the masses. Because people are not knowing. Is it not? Yesterday there was a question the lady asked me in the Hindi section, who created God? Because a 7-year-old son was asking her and she did not know how to answer this. So this is the basic, who created God? They don't know. So unless we read Prabhupada books, books written by acharyas, like Prabhupada, then this message will be lost. And when the person is lost, then sense gratification will take over his control because the more of passion. So when a person is engrossed in sense gratification, then his life becomes miserable, Not only miserable, he also will go to hell. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusion, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. So this is a very pathetic position. I don't think we should encourage them like that. Someone who knows, correct, that someone is going to fall down to hell, then how any sane man can help? Hmm? His duty is to stop him at all costs. Can someone read?
Yes, Prabhu. If someone is ignorant and addicted to the path of samsara, how can one who is actually learned, merciful, and advanced in spiritual knowledge engage him in fruitive activity and thus further entangle him in material existence? If a blind man is walking down the wrong path, how can a gentleman allow him to continue on his way to danger? How can he approve this method? No wise or kind man can allow this.
Yes. Hmm? So anyone who's intelligent, they should not allow this thing. Neither can we stand aside and watch it. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given an order. What is that? It says that those who are born in India, particularly those who are born in India, Bharata, Yare Deka Tareka, Bharata Bhumi, 9, I think it's 9.
41.
9?
41.
941.
Adi.
941. Right? One who has taken, someone who can read this?
One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatavarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people.
So this is the, duty of all Indians. He has to first learn this thing and then he have to teach to others. This is the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, God himself. Only India has the answer for all this thing, no? Nobody else know. But Indians, they are forgetting their principles. This is a solution how to come out of this mess. Can you read?
Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, becomes a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land.
This is the solution. Unless you teach people about Krishna, how you can save anybody? Yes?
Yes.
Instead, Indians are learning so many nonsense. Everybody is God. You can become God. I can become God. No need to worship God. Everybody is God. All kind of crazy philosophy. Not supported in the Shastras. So how people will understand? Actually, they are very confused. I think in my previous classes, the lady was asking me a question. I've got so many gods, Who is God, She was asking like this. And she was quite an elderly lady. All life she has been confused. I'm sure this is the position of all Indians. Yes? Unless you know who is God, how can you develop love? No question, common sense, logic. Unless I know somebody, how I can love? I can't love some abstract sky or, A or something. So these informations are given by Krishna explicitly in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Once we have understood this, then we can nurture our love. Then we will become purified. Then our senses can become uncontrolled. Otherwise, we will live in a confused stage. We don't know, we speculate, and we keep speculating with our mind. Our mind is said in the Bhagavad Gita can be the best of friends and the worst of enemy. Can you read?
For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy.
Yes. And if the mind is thinking of sense objects, then you will attain that without fail. Correct?
Yes.
Whatever the mind is thinking of, then that will be the state of our consciousness. Yeah. So we have to be very cautious, with this whole thing. We don't know. Please read.
If out of love, hate, or fear, and if out of love, hate, or fear, an embodied soul fixes his mind with intelligence and complete concentration upon a particular body form, he will certainly attain the form that he is meditating upon.
You see this?
Yeah,
If
mind is a magnet.
If I have been thinking of, say, my wife, for example, the next life I'll get the body of a woman. That's how it works. That's how you go to the next body. No? That's why it's recommended that you think of God. At least by that you can go to the kingdom of God. Not that you become God. You cannot become God. That's not possible. So this basic information they don't know. Instead of thinking of God, they're thinking of so many nonsense, especially, now phonography is a very big industry now. If they meditate on the opposite sex, then what will happen? Correct? So this is exactly what's going on. Without knowledge, everybody is misguided. That's why just now we read the verse, the misguided people of Kali Yuga. They are misguided, they are lazy, they are unfortunate. What to do? So our duty is to disseminate this knowledge, That's why this is so important, and this knowledge are all there in India. India is the place for this knowledge. Unfortunately, Indians are not interested. Then who will be interested? That's why Prabhupada had to bring this book called to America, and when Americans danced, then Indians started waking up. Yes. Who knows? Who knows that when you die, if you think of Krishna, you'll go back to Krishna? Who knows? Nobody in the world knows this thing. Yes? So if we want to save everybody, then we must preach Krishna consciousness very boldly. Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Yes? Huh? Murali, you asked the question, yes? Hello, is he there?
Yeah.
They muted me, yeah.
Oh,
Yes, bro.
So yes, you understand now?
Yeah.
So cannot blame them. We must do our work.
Yes, bro.
So this is very important. First we must learn. Without knowledge, how we can teach? And to learn, we must go to a realized soul. We cannot just learn this, by our own self. That's not possible. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you must go and approach a self-realized soul and learn. It's very, that's why Krishna spent this material world. Before he left, he gave this knowledge. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth.
You know this Guruji? Have you seen him?
Who is that? Hello. So we have to learn from a realized soul, not somebody who's just wearing some saffron cloth or something. Someone who has knowledge. If the person don't have knowledge, then what's the use of going to him? Guru is not going there for some asirvad, Guru is going for getting knowledge. Unless you get this knowledge, how you will learn? Just like going to school, and if the teachers in the school don't know, then what is the use of the school? Any value? Yes?
No, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Common sense. Would you go to a school where they don't give knowledge? Would you go in?
No.
Nowadays they're charging huge amount of money anyway for schools, yes? Our school is the only one not charging anything. Only asking you for some free time. That also nobody can give. Yes?
Yes.
So once you learn this knowledge, this is topmost knowledge. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, this is the topmost knowledge. There's no other knowledge higher than this. It says here, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyachagavagham Dharmyam Sushukam Kartam Avyayam. Can someone read this?
This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secret. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct prescriptions of the self by realization, it is a perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyful, profound.
So you say this knowledge is the king of education. And nobody knows. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
King of education and nobody knows. What kind of what is this?
Yes, bro.
Whole India they're studying IT, this thing, that thing, so many things they're studying, yeah?
Yes, bro.
But this important thing nobody is studying. Yes?
Yes.
How sad it is, yeah? Correct? So we have to propagate this knowledge. That is very important. It's our duty. Correct?
Yes, bro.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Instead of getting this kind of knowledge, they create some kind of a new knowledge. They say Manava Seva is Madhava Seva. Yes?
Yeah.
Instead of doing Madhava Seva, That way, the Manava will be happy. They are changing the philosophy to Manava Seva to Madhava Seva. Can you imagine that? Huh? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Very unfortunate. Madhava Seva and Manava Seva are two different things, you know. You cannot please God by pleasing mankind. But by serving God, you can please the mankind. This is the philosophy. That's why Krishna says, no, whatever you do it as an offering to me. He never say you do an offering to the mankind. Did he say that? Huh?
No, Prabhu.
Yesterday we was asked this question also. Yat karosi yad asnasi yad juhosi dadasi yad yatapasisi kauntaya tat kurushva mad arpanam. Yes? Can you read?
Whatever you do, whatever you eat,
Let
whatever.
others also read. Let give
Yeah,
them
yeah.
all a chance.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, or whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
The Krishna says, do as an offering to me. Correct? Did he say offer to mankind? What is this word? Mad arpanam. What is this mad arpanam? To mankind or to God? They say, oh, we cannot see God, so we offer to the man, you know. But animal I kill. Okay? It's nice philosophy, you know, only to man. Man, animal and all the others should be killed. Correct? You see how the philosophy? Actually, they don't understand the whole thing. In fact, Krishna says to serve him is not serve through mankind. Krishna says actually is to serve my devotees, you know. Serving devotees is very, very important. They don't understand this point, you know. In this verse, you can see Yatahe skanda sakanam taro mula vasechanam sechananam evam arhadanam vishnuhu sarvesham atmanam chahe.
When one pours water on the root of a tree, the trunk and branches of the tree are automatically pleased. Similarly, when one becomes a devotee of Lord Vishnu, everyone is served. For the Lord is the super soul of everyone.
So try to understand this, you know, when you become a devotee of Krishna, everyone is served. Huh? Can you read the purport, please?
As shaded in the Padma Purana, Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parattaram Devi Tadiyanam Samacham. Of all types of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is best. And better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotee, the Vaishnava. There are many demigods worshipped by people who are attached to material desires. Kama Ristai Hridajnana Prabhadyante Anya Devata, Bhagavad Gita 7:20. Because people are embarrassed by so many material desires, they worship Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, the goddess Kali, Durga, Ganesha, and Surya to achieve different results. However, one can achieve all these results simultaneously just by worshipping Lord Vishnu, as stated everywhere in the Bhagavatam. Elsewhere in Bhagavatam 4:31-14. Yatha taror mura nischena tripyanti tatskanta pujopashakaha pranopaharach yatendriyanam taseva sarvarhanam achudejya. Just by pouring water on the root of a tree, one nourishes its trunk and all of its branches, fruits, and flowers. And just by supplying food to the stomach, one satisfies all the limbs of the body. Similarly, by worshipping Lord Vishnu, one can satisfy everyone. Krishna consciousness is not a sectarian religious movement. Rather, it is meant for all embracing welfare activities for the world. one can enter this movement without discrimination in terms of caste, creed, religion, or nationality. If one is trained to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, who is the origin of Vishnu Tattva, one can become fully satisfied and perfect in all respects.
So therefore, we should understand the position of the devotees, See how, if you want to worship Krishna or you want to please Madhava, then you must actually please his devotee. Because his devotees are not only equal to the, they are higher than the Lord, as thus says. See, even the Lord is saying like that, you can see. And this was why the devotee's position is very exalted. Please read.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. I sit only within the course of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me.
So this is spoken by the Lord himself, So actually the secret of trying to go to the Lord is to go through his devotees. This is the secret. But they don't know. They think Madhava and Manava, all kind of nonsense, Some guy who is actually a, woman hunter, who is drug addict and all these kind of people, by serving them, they think they're serving God. How is it possible? This does not make sense. But if you serve the devotee of the Lord, then the Lord is very, very happy. In fact, he says also here, it says in this verse, can you read please?
I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrifices in the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouths, with the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee, which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmanas, who have dedicated to me the result of their activity and who are ever satisfied with my prasada.
You understand how the Lord is saying? He relished by eating food offered to the mouth of the Brahmin. So people don't know these things. They know, yes, to do some kind of service. That is very nice. But where to do the service, they don't know. They simply think anything is serving the poor guy, serving the sick guy, and all this is all very good. This is not very pleasing to the Lord. You understand? Because the devotees are a very exalted position. There's nobody higher than the devotees, It says here in this verse is very nice verse. And this verse you can see the exalted position of the devotee of the Lord. Devotees, here you can see in this verse, someone want to read? Hello.
Of the two energies manifest, spirit and dull matter, being possessive living force, vegetables, grass, trees, and plants, or superior to dull matter, stone, earth, etc. Superior to non-moving plants and vegetables are worms and snakes, which can move. Superior to worms and snakes are animals that have developed intelligence. Superior to animals are human beings, and superior to human beings are ghosts because they have no material bodies. Superior to ghosts are the Gandharvas, and superior to them are the Siddhas. Superior to Siddhas are the Kinnaras, and superior to them are the Asuras. Superior to Asuras are the demigods. And of the demigods, Indra, the king of heaven, is supreme. Superior to Indra are the direct sons of Lord Brahma, sons like King Daksha, and supreme among Brahma's son is Lord Shiva. Since Lord Shiva is the son of Lord Brahma, Brahma is considered superior. But Brahma is also subordinate to me, the supreme personality of Godhead. Because I'm inclined to the Brahmanas are best of all.
Just see how exalted position here. Actually, we talk about the Brahmanas, we talk about the devotees, huh? Not all these born Brahmins who don't know anything. You see how the Lord is classifying these people who are simply by birth but don't know what to do, no?
Prabhu Brajvasis.
Even them. I asked him. Yeah. Can you read this?
If a Brahmana has all 12 of the Brahminical qualifications as they are stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, but is not a devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly lower than a devotee who is a dog eater, but who has dedicated everything, mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee is better than such a Brahmana because the devotee can purify his own family, whereas so-called Brahmana in a position of false ego, false prestige, cannot purify even himself.
Can you read?
Here is a statement by Prahlad Maharaj, one of the 12 authorities, regarding the distinction between a devotee and a Brahmana, expert in Karma Kanda or Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. These are there are 4 varnas and 4 ashramas which divide human society. But the central principle is to become a first class person. It is said in the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, Bhagavad Bhakti Chadi Shastram Japat Tapaha Apranasya Dehasya Mandanam Loka Ranjanam. If one is born in a high family like that of a Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya, but is not a devotee of Lord, all his good qualifications as a Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya are null and void. Indeed, they are considered decorations of a dead body. In this verse, Prahlad Maharaj speaks of the Vipras, the learned Brahmanas. The learned Brahmana is considered best among the divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. But a devotee born in a low Chandala family is better than such a Brahmanas, not to speak of the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and others. A devotee is better than anyone, or he is in the transcendental position on the Brahman platform. Mamchayo Vyabhacherena, Bhakti Yogena Sevate, Sagunan Samatite Itan, Brahmabhuyaya Kalpate. One who engages in full devotion or service, who does not fall down in any circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Bhagavatam 14:26. The 12 qualities of first class Brahmana, as stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, or as follows: Jnanam cha satyam cha, damaha sutam cha. Can you scroll up? Jnanam cha satyam cha, damaha sutam cha, hi amatsaryam krish tidikshanasya, yajnascha dhanam cha, srutihi samascha, Mahavrata Dvadasa Brahmanasya. The European American devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement are sometimes accepted Brahmanas as Brahmanas, but the so-called caste Brahmins are very much envious of them. In answer to such envy, Prahlad Maharaj says that one who has been born in a Brahmana family but is falsely proud of his prestigious position cannot even purify himself, not to speak of his family. Whereas if a Chandala, a low-born person, is a devotee and has fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord, he can purify his entire family. We have had actual experience of how Americans and Europeans because of their full Krishna consciousness, have purified their whole families. So much so that a mother of a devotee at the time of her death inquired about Krishna with the last breath. Therefore, it is theoretically true and has been practically proven that a devotee can give the best service to his family, his community, his society, and his nation. The foolish accuse a devotee of following the principle of escapism, but actually, the fact is that a devotee is the right person to elevate his family. A devotee engages everything in the service of the Lord and therefore is always exalted.
So you see how the devotee's position is very rare. Whereas the Brahmana or anybody else, if it's not a devotee, then their position is, very pathetic. They can't even help anybody. Because there's no knowledge. The only person who can save anybody is God only. But because they have no knowledge, they don't know what to do. How to escape death, who to worship, who not to worship. They don't know anything. Correct? Yes or not? See? That's why the devotees are the only person that we should surrender to. Please read.
The devotees of the Lord, peacefully fixed in absolute knowledge, are the ultimate shelter for those who are repeatedly rising and falling within the fearful portion of material life. So devotees are just like a strong boat that comes to rescue persons who are at the point of drowning.
So you see that? Devotees are just like the strong boat that come to rescue persons who are at the point of drowning. We all are drowning in this material world. Day to day, we don't know what to do, what not to do, completely confused. So the right person we should take shelter is the devotee. That's why serving the devotee is so important.
Just as food is the life of all creatures, just as I am the ultimate shelter for the distressed, and just as religion is the wealth of those who are passing away from this world, so my devotees are the only refuge of persons fearful of falling into miserable condition of life.
So my devotees are the only refuge because food, everybody lives on food,
This is 33. This is 33. Just now it was 32 before that.
33. Yeah.
This is 33 or just now also say the same number.
This is 33.
Okay, that one was 32. Just now you showed. Before.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Is it the point here? Food, no, everybody needs food to live. And Krishna is the ultimate shelter for the distress. And religion is the wealth for those who are passing of the when you die, whatever punya you have done is the only wealth you can take. The punya or the karma, that's the only thing you take when you go. You cannot take anything else. And similarly, my devotees are the only refuge of person falling, fearful of falling into a miserable condition in life. You see, it is explained here by Sukaracharya, by Durvasha Muni. Durvasha Muni is speaking like this, that if a person is falling to hell, if he can remember the Lord, you can be saved. So see how powerful, if suppose someone has a relationship with the devotee, he can be delivered if he takes shelter of the devotee, That's why the Lord says in that verse, devotees are very dear to me. I am not independent. I am totally dependent on my devotees. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, sir.
Correct?
Yes.
So you see how powerful the devotees are. Devotees are not ordinary people, you know. Yeah? You can see here again in the next verse.
My devotees bestow divine eyes, whereas the sun allows only external sight, and that only when it is risen in the sky. My devotees are one's real worshipable deities and real family. They are one's own self, and ultimately they are not different. 26.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
See that? My devotees bestow divine eyes, whereas the sun allows only external sight. And that only when it is risen in the sky. The sun can only help us with the light when it is up in the sky. Like now it is dark. So what can we see? My devotees are one's worshipful deity and real family. They are one's own self and ultimately they are non-different from me. See the exalted position of the devotees. People don't understand these things. That's why Durvasa Muni, he also made the mistake. He thought that King Ambarish was ordinary person, no? Can you read?
Durvasa said, I am very pleased with you, my dear king. At first, I thought of you as an ordinary human being and accepted your hospitality. But later, I could understand by my own intelligence that you are the most exalted devotee of the Lord. Therefore, simply by seeing you, touching your feet, and talking with you, I have been pleased and have become obliged to you.
I have become obliged to you. See? That's why he says here, many places, this thing is not known. They are simply talking of Manava Seva. It is Manava. Which Manava to Seva, they don't know.
Kosuta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use.
See this?
Yes.
Water of the Ganges can sanctify after prolonged use. You go and take bath in Ganga, after a long time only you can get purified, no? But if you take shelter of the devotee, the lotus feet of the Lord, from the devotees, immediately you get sanctified. Immediately you can get sanctified. See? So you see how powerful it is to take shelter of the devotees. The devotees can get rid of all sins. That's why it says in many places, this is the real Manava. Not some, telawala, some panwala, this panwala, telawala, what's the use of these guys? Muktanamapi siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prasantatma goti swapi mahamune. Please read.
It says among many millions who are liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation, one may be a devotee of Lord Narayana or Krishna. Such devotees are fully peaceful or extremely rare.
Read on.
Yes, Prabhu. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the following purport to this verse. Simply desiring mukti or liberation is insufficient. One must become factually liberated. When one understands the futility of the materialistic way of life, one becomes advanced in knowledge. And therefore, he situates himself in the Vanaprastha order unattached to family, wife, and children. One should then further progress to the platform of sannyasa, the actual renounce order, and never to fall again and be afflicted by materialistic life. Even though one desires to be liberated, this does not mean he is liberated. Only rarely is someone liberated. Indeed, although many men take sannyasa to become liberated because of their imperfections, they because of their imperfections, they again become attached to women, materialistic activities, social welfare, work, and so on. Jnanis, yogis, karmis, devoid of devotional service are called offenders. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mayavati Krishnare Aprati. One who thinks that everything is Maya instead of thinking that everything is Krishna is called an Aprati or offender. Although the Mayavadis, impersonalists, or offenders at the lotus feet of Krishna, they may nonetheless be counted among the Siddhas, those who have realized the self. They may be considered nearer to spiritual perfection because at least they have realized what spiritual life is. If such a person becomes Narayana Parayana, a devotee of Lord Narayana, is better than Jivan Mukta, one who is liberated or perfect. It requires higher intelligence. There are two kinds of jnanis. One is inclined to devotional service and other to impersonal realization. Impersonalists generally undergo great endeavor for no tangible benefit, and therefore it is said that they are husking paddy that has no grain. Stula Shavagattinaha. The other class of jnanis whose jnana is mixed with bhakti are also of two kinds. Those who are devoted to the so-called false form of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and those who understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Satchidananda Brahma Samhita chapter 5. Can mute others, Prabhu? Can mute others? Brahma Samhita 5.1 and the actual spiritual forms. The Mayavadi devotees worship Narayana or Vishnu, the idea that Vishnu has accepted a form of Maya and that the ultimate truth is actually impersonal. The pure devotee, however, never thinks that Vishnu has accepted a body of Maya. Instead, he knows perfectly well that original absolute truth is the Supreme Person. As a devotee is actually situated in knowledge, he never merges in the Brahman effulgence. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32, E anne aravind vimukshamaninas tvai ashta bhavat avishuddha buddhihi aruhya prachendra parampadam tataha padanti ato nadrita yusmat angreha. O Lord, the intelligence of those who think themselves liberated but who have no devotion is impure. Even though they rise to the highest point of liberation, by dint of severe penances and austerities, they are sure to fall down again into material existence. For they do not take shelter of your lotus feet. Evidence of the same point is also given in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse number 11, whereas the Lord says, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I discern in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme domination over all that be. When rascals, mudas, see that Krishna acts exactly like a human being, they deride the transcendental form of the Lord because they do not know the param bhavam, the transcendental form and activities. Such persons are further described in Bhagavad Gita 9:12 as follows: Mogasa, Moga karmana, Moga jnana vichetasaha, Rakshasimmasirim chaiva, Prakritim mohinim sitaha. Those who are thus bewildered and attracted by demoniac and atheistic views. In their deluded condition, their hope for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. Such persons do not know that Krishna's body is not material. There is no distinction between Krishna's body and his soul. But because less intelligent men There is no distinction between Krishna's body and his soul. But because less intelligent men see Krishna as a human being, they deride him. They cannot imagine how a person like Krishna could be the origin of everything. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pachami. Such persons are described as moha saha, baffled in their hopes. Whatever they desire for the future will be baffled. Even if they apparently engage in devotional service, they are described as moga saha because they ultimately desire to merge into Brahman effulgence. Those who aspire to be elevated to the heavenly planets by devotional service will be frustrated because this is not the result of devotional service. However, they are also given a chance to engage in devotional service and be purified. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1-17, Srinvadam Swakataha Krishnaha Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridiyantastohi Avadrani Vidunodi Sudusatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Unless the dirt within the core of one's heart is cleansed away, one cannot become a pure devotee. Therefore, the word Sudurlabhaha, very rarely found, is used in this verse. Not only among hundreds and thousands, but among millions of perfectly revelated saints, yet pure devotee is hardly ever found. Therefore, the words Kotishvapi also are used herein. Sri Madhvacharya gives the following quotations from the Tantra Bhagavata. Navakotyastu devanam rishayah saptakotayah narayanah sarve narayanayanaha sarve eke chittat parayanah. There are 90 million demigods, 70 million sages, who are all called Narayanaya, Narayanayana, devotees of Lord Narayana. Among them, only few are called Narayana Parayana. Narayanayana Deva, Vishyadyastach Parayanaha, Brahmadhyaha Kechanaiva Syuhu, Siddho Yogya Sukham Labham. The difference between the Siddhas and Narayana Parayanas is that direct devotees are called Narayana Parayana, where those who perform virtuous types of mystic yoga are called Siddhas.
So you see here the distinction of the devotee. A Narayana Parayana devotee is extremely, extremely rare. That means one who is a devotee of Krishna is not an ordinary person. So to give you a further breakdown on this, it is spoken of in the Garuda Puranam. You want to read this?
Brahmananam, okay, want the English rule? A Brahmana qualified to offer sacrifices is better than an ordinary Brahmana, and better than such a Brahmana is one who has studied all Vedic scriptures. Among many such Brahmanas, one who is a devotee of Lord Vishnu is the best. And among many such Vaishnavas, one who fully engages in the service of the Lord is the best.
See here the breakdown.
This is from where, Prabhu? Can you just reference?
This is from Garuda Puranam.
Garuda Puranam. Garuda Puranam. Okay. Thank you.
But you must go to Antya 3:222.
Okay. Thank you.
So Brahmana, there are many Brahmana, especially South India, very common. Many guys know how to do this sacrifice. Yes?
Yes,
Om Swaha, this Swaha. Better than that ordinary Brahmana. Ordinary Brahmana doesn't know anything, just by birth only. Maybe working somewhere. When one works means he's not a Brahmin anymore. And better than such a Brahmana is one who has studied the Vedic scriptures. Does he know Shastra? There are many who knows. Many of them are studying Shastra and they think that God has got no form. Nirakar. Among such Brahmanas, one who know Lord Vishnu is the best. Anyone who know Krishna or Vishnu is the best, they are among many such Vaishnavas. One who is actually knows Krishna is God, that is very high platform. And anyone who has dedicated his life to doing the service to the Lord, especially Krishna, he is the topmost. He is the topmost. So this is the breakdown of how a person is an exalted personality. So when you serve such an exalted personality, as we have described, then yes, the Lord is very, very pleased, extremely pleased. You understand? Can you read on?
There are many different kinds of devotees, but even a Vaishnava coming from family of Mlechas or Yavanas is understood to be a learned scholar, complete in knowledge, if he knows the Vaishnava philosophy. He should therefore be given charity, for such a Vaishnava is worshipable as a supreme personality of Godhead. Name bhaktascha turvedi madbhaktaha swapachaha priyaha tasmai deyam tato grahyam sacha pujyo yathahi aham. Lord Krishna says, even if a non-devotee comes from a Brahmana family and is expert in studying the Vedas, he is not very dear to me. Whereas even if a sincere devotee comes from a low family of meat eaters, he is very dear to me. But a sincere pure devotee should be given charity, for he is as worshipable as I.
See this point here. You don't know. Everybody don't know. Simply acting out of things. No, I give donation to the Cancer Society. I will give donation to the Manava Sevas. Then what's the use? What is the use? That's why Krishna said charity should be given, but it should be given to me. And to me means to someone who is representing me, the devotees. They don't know. So that's why you see, explain here further, this charity business. This charity business is given here. Can you read this?
Yes, Lord. The materialistic way of pious activities like charity is recommended in the Smriti Shastras. As quoted by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, the money given in charity to a suitable person is guaranteed bank balance in next life. For such charity is recommended to be given to a Brahmana. If the money is given in charity a non-Brahmana, without Brahmanical qualification, the money is returned next life in the same proportion. If it is given in charity to half-educated Brahmana, even then the money is returned double. If the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahmana, the money is returned 100 and 1,000 times. And if the money is given to a Veda Paraga, the one who has factually realized the path of Vedas, it is written by the unlimited multiplication.
So that,
Yes,
see what you get if you give to some guy who got no brains, you get back the same amount.
Yes.
Right? But if you give to someone who got some brains, Brahman, then you get back what? Double. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, if you give to a half-educated Brahmin, the money is returned double. If the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahmana, the money is returned 100 and 1,000 times. But if the money is given to somebody who is a devotee of Vishnu, Krishna, then it is returned by unlimited multiplication. So all this information are not known. Everybody is trying to do some kind of Akshaya Patra and giving to this and that. What's the point? Yeah? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Krishna says to do this and we are doing something else. Why? Because we know better than Krishna. That's the problem. Correct? Ultimately, who is going to look after? Who comes to us? Who? They don't know. Ultimately, Krishna said, I come as sure as death. 10:54, is it? What that was? I am sure as that.
10:32, no?
10:32.
Yeah.
10:30.
10:30.
10:34.
34.
Murtu Sarvara Sutta.
Yes.
10:30.
There, Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham Utbhavascha Bhavishyantam Kritihi Siri Vakcha Narinam Smitid Meda Dirti Chama. I am all devouring death. I am all devouring death. See that point? So they don't know. They don't know many things. They don't know. God is speaking and nobody seems to know. This is the problem. Yeah. So when you don't know, then what you will do? You will not. You will do something, which will be what most terrifying. Something you don't know, you do. What will happen? Think. Without knowledge. So that's why Krishna says in Kali Yuga, these guys, they don't know, the demons, they don't know what to do, what not to do. They simply do something which is going to be what? Messing up everything. That's all it is. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Karmanaha Daivige Netrena Jantur Deho Papatyaye Striya Pravista Dudaram Pumso Reta Kanashrayaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. See this point here? Under the supervision of the Supreme Lord and according to the result of his work, the living entity, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of body. Woman could be also a woman in any, female form in any species. There are 8.4 million species. You can be entered into any other species life according to your work, according to the kind of consciousness you prevail yourself. So this is all unknown, unnecessarily, not knowing, doing all kind of crazy stuff. This is the problem. They don't know what to do, what not to do. Simply doing things meant for destruction of the whole world. It's what it is, Following such conclusion, the demonic or lost to themselves who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible work meant to destroy the world. Yes? What to do? Correct?
Yes.
They don't know. They don't want to know. Correct? They don't want to know also. Very unfortunate. This is the unfortunate situation. And all these are what? They engulf the mode of passion. When a person gets into the mode of passion, Krishna says this is the enemy. You will develop all kind of bad qualities. You will develop so many bad qualities. And in this way, the whole life will be messed up. Whole life will be messed up. Unfortunate. They don't know. They don't want to learn. They think that human life will be there forever and forever. I can go on enjoying and then enjoying and then enjoying. Yes. No knowledge that any moment you're going to die. That they don't know. They don't care. Correct?
Amul, the Beta organization in India, they said they started some propaganda in India that Amul should stop that milk business, dairy industry, and convert to soya. They're making some propaganda. Involved in all kind of
This is the problem,
Kind of activities.
They want to save the cows, But you go and see the guy is eating beefsteak. Why don't you stop McDonald's first?
Yes.
Huh? Correct?
Yeah, this verse, just like this verse says.
What?
Just like this verse says, they are destroying the world. They're trying to destroy the cow in this way.
Yes. Whole life is to have Brahminical culture and cow protection. They don't know.
Yes.
Can you read this?
Made to wander because of his fruity work, the conditioned soul, by contact with the mode of goodness, takes birth among the sages or demigods. By contact with the mode of passion, he becomes a demon or human being. And by association with the mode of ignorance, he takes birth as a ghost or in the animal kingdom.
So, this is a reality. Can you say, no, I will never do, I will never become? Can you say that? You don't know. What kind of birth you be put into? It's not in your hands. Therefore it says karmana deviga netrena. Deviga netrena means the higher arrangement, by the arrangement of God. Yeah. So those who are mischievous, Krishna said, I cast them to lower and lower species where they stay there perpetually. That Krishna is saying. So these are not frightening things, This is what is this. If you don't want to play the rules according to what it is laid out, then you are asking for trouble. Yes. Therefore, intelligent person will surrender. No, I don't want to do all these things. So it takes shelter of a devotee. And the devotees are the best people to help. The devotees will give the direction. No. Devotees are not just interested in collecting money. They don't. Why they want so much money anyway? Of course, you give them, they'll use it in the service of the Lord. But the real thing that the devotee provides is that he gives you the knowledge in which you can go back to God. Yeah. Understand? Nobody can end this material life without the help of a devotee. That is very clear. It is impossible for anyone to go to God without the help of a devotee. And those devotees are to be worshipped, you have to do service to them. Can you read?
Unless one is favored by a pure devotee, one cannot attain the platform of devotional service. To say nothing of Krishna Bhakti, one cannot even be relieved from the bondage of material existence. Pious activities bring about material opulence, but one cannot acquire devotional service by any amount of material pious activity. Not by giving charity, opening big hospitals and schools, or working philanthropically. Devotional service can be attained only by the mercy of a pure devotee. Without a pure devotee's mercy, one cannot even escape the bondage of material existence. The word Mahat in this verse means a pure devotee. As Lord Krishna confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:13, Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritimashitaha bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim abhyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, or under the protection of the divine nature, they are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. One has to associate with such a Mahatma who has accepted Krishna as a supreme source of the entire creation. Without being a Mahatma, one cannot understand Krishna's actual position. A Mahatma is rare and transcendental, and he is pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Foolish people consider Krishna a human being, and they consider Lord Krishna as pure devotee and ordinary human being also. Whatever one may be, one must take shelter at the lotus feet of a devotee Mahatma and treat him as the most exalted well-wisher of all human society. We should take shelter of such a Mahatma and ask for his causeless mercy. Only by his benediction can one be relieved from attachment to the material way of life. When one is thus relieved, he can engage in Lord's transcendental loving service through the mercy of Mahatma.
So this is the way to go about. If anybody wants to serve, then they should serve this Mahatma. You understand? Not Manava Seva, Mahatma Seva. Mahatmas are higher than even God, Krishna says. Because they are able to give Krishna. Why they are able to give Krishna? Because they have Krishna in the heart. See this? Read on.
O King Raghugana, without taking upon one's head the dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee, a Mahajana or Mahatma, one cannot attain devotional service. Devotional service is not possible to attain simply by undergoing severe austerities and penances, by gorgeously worshipping the deity, or by strictly following the rules and regulations of the sannyasa or grahastha order. Nor is it attained. Is it attained by studying the Vedas, submerging oneself in water, or exposing oneself to the fire or scorching sunlight. This verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.12.12. Jadabharata herein tells King Raghugana how he attained the Paramahamsa stage. Maharaj Raghugana, the king of Sindhu or Sauvira, had asked Jadabharata how he had attained the Paramahamsa stage. The king had called him to carry his palanquin. When the king heard from Paramahamsa Jadabharata about the supreme philosophy, he expressed surprise and asked Jadabharata how he had attained such great liberation. At that time, Jadabharata informed the king how to become detached from material attraction. Here Paramatma or Paramahamsa it is mentioned. Is it just the synonyms or any difference is there?
Paramatma is super soul. Paramahamsa is a devotee.
That can you show that translation, Babu, just now? The translation 52. Oh, sorry. Mahajana and Mahatma. I'm sorry. Mahajana or Mahatma, it is mentioned like that. Is it just a synonyms or any difference is there?
Mahajana and Mahatma are about the same, no?
Same, right? Just okay. Fine. Unless human society accept the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. Those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life.
So instead of serving this what is that? Manava, they should learn how to serve the devotee. Correct?
Yes, bro.
A devotee, three things are very important in the devotee.
Yes. Because this one. Then Shira.
No.
Yes, this the dust of the feet of a devotee, the water that has washed the feet of a devotee, and remnants of food left by a devotee, are three very powerful substances.
So you see how important these three things. That's why we call a sadhu to the house. We wash his feet. We drink the water, we sprinkle it on their head, or the dust we take, or the food. When we offer him food, the remnants of the food we take. These things are all so pure. Why is it pure? Because the Mahatma is always having the Lord in the heart, Because they're carrying God in the heart. Of course, everybody is having the Lord in the heart, but they are realizing and they have a relationship with the Lord in the heart,
Yes. The illusory material
No,
nature.
sorry, wrong word. I think it's 20, it's 27. I'm not sure. Let me see. Give me a minute, huh? Because the devotees, they're carrying the Lord in the heart, you know. That's why they make every place sanctified, you know. I think it's 35. Yeah. Can you read this?
That's true. Sages free from false pride live on this earth by frequenting the sacred pilgrimage sites and those places where the Supreme Lord displayed his pastimes. Because his devotees keep your lotus feet within their hearts, the water that washes their feet destroys all sin. Anyone who even once turns his mind towards you, the ever blissful soul of all existence, no longer dedicates himself to serving family life at home, which is simply robs a man of his good qualities.
So you can see, because they are carrying the Lord in the heart, you know, because such devotees keep your lotus feet within their heart, the water that washes their feet destroy all sins. See, this is the position why sadhus are so important. This Mahatmas or Mahajan. So that such kind of person we should aspire to take association with, you know. Even we associate with them a moment, our life becomes successful. Even a moment we associate with them.
For the conditioned souls, the human body is most difficult to achieve, and it can be lost at any moment. But I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha.
So human life rarely get the association of pure devotees.
Yes.
See how powerful these devotees are. They are not somebody that, you know, you see them every day on the road or something, you know. Yes?
Yes.
So we should aspire to get their association. Then our life become really successful. Instead of trying to, you know, become, I don't know what it is, you know, engineer, lawyer, doctor, this, that, they think this is the success of life. But all this kind of material thing will be finished the moment the body dies. Everything we prepare now will be taken away. But association with devotee, this is the saving grace, you know. The saving grace, it says here. This secret are not known at all. They don't know and they don't want to know, because the whole India actually, I see all this kind of babas, they are real, what we say, very unfortunate sight, you know. They're very dirty, they're not clean, they're simply begging. And you talk to them, they don't know anything also. Yes? Please read. Anyone else can read?
The value of a moment's association with a devotee of the Lord cannot be compared even with the value of attaining the heavenly planet's liberation from matter. And what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death.
Say the devotee association. A moment's association, 1/11th of a second. You read the purport.
When there are some similar points, it is possible to compare one thing to another. One cannot compare the association of a pure devotee to anything material, Men who are addicted to the material happiness aspire to reach the heavenly planets like the moon, Venus, and Indraloka. And those who are advanced in philosophical speculations, material philosophical speculations, aspire after liberation from all material bondage. When one becomes frustrated with all kind of material advancement, one desires the opposite of material bondage, namely liberation, which is called apunar bhava, or no rebirth. But the pure devotee of the Lord aspire after neither the happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom nor liberation from the material bondage. In other words, for the pure devotees of the Lord, the material pleasures obtainable in the heavenly planets are like a phantasmagoria. And because the devotees are already liberated from the material conception of pleasures and distress, they are factually liberated even in the material world. This means that the pure devotees of the Lord are engaged in a transcendental existence, namely in the loving service, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. As a government servant is always the same, either in the office or at home or at any other place. So a devotee has nothing to do with anything material or is exclusively engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, since he has nothing to do with anything material. What pleasure can he derive from material benediction like kingship or other overlords, which are finished quickly with the end of the body. Devotional service is eternal. It has no end because it is spiritual. Therefore, since the assets of a pure devotee are completely different from the material assets, there is no comparison between the two. Sutta Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and thus for the rishis in Naimisaranya, the value of his association was unique and incomparable to the value of material assets. In the material world, association with gross materialists is veritably condemned. The materialist is called a Josit Sangi, or one who is too much attached to women or other paraphernalia. Such attachment is conditioned because it drives away the benediction of life and prosperity. And just the opposite to the Joshis Sangi is the Bhagavat Sangi, or one who is always in the association of Lord's name, form, qualities, etc. Such association is always desirable, it is worshipable, it is praiseworthy, and one may accept it as the highest goal of life.
So you see, this is the Vedic. If you want to associate with the bodies, then the spiritual world is wide open. But if you associate with people who are interested in sense gratification, especially women or people who are interested in women, then the hellish world is wide open. Mahatsevam dwaram aham vimuktes tamo dwaram yoshitam sangi sangam mahantas te samachitta prashantaha vimanyavaha suhurda sadhavo he. See this word tamo dwaram yoshitam sangi sangam. Please read.
One can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to the highly advanced spiritual personalities. These personalities are impersonalist, and devotees. Whether one wants to merge into the Lord's existence or wants to associate with the personality of Godhead, one should render service to the Mahatmas. For those who are not interested in such activities, one who associate with the people fond of women and sex, the path to hell is wide open. Mahatmas are equipoised. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and are fully engaged in devotional service. They are devoid of anger. They work for the benefit of everyone. They do not behave in any abominable way. Such people are known as Mahatmas.
So here the qualification is given for Mahatma. They do not see the Mahatmas are equipoise. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and fully engaged in devotional service to Krishna. This is important. Devotional service not to any demigod or anything else. It's only to Krishna. They are devoid of anger and they work for the benefit of everyone. They work for the benefit of everyone. And what is that benefit? Is to bring everybody to Krishna consciousness. That is the benefit. They do not behave in any abominable way. They don't eat meat, they don't have illicit sex, they don't gamble, they don't intoxicate. Such people are known as Mahatmas. And not somebody, who simply take politics and he get the title Mahatma Gandhi or something like that. That's not Mahatma. Purport.
The human body is like a Johnson. One may either take the path of liberation or path leading to hellish condition. How one can take this path is described herein. On the path of liberation, one associates with Mahatmas. And on the path of bondage, one associates with those attached to sense gratification and omen. There are two types of Mahatma, the impersonalist and the devotee. Although their ultimate goal is different, the process of emancipation is almost the same. Both want eternal happiness. One seeks happiness in impersonal Brahman, and the other seeks happiness in the association of Supreme Personality of Godhead. As described in the first verse, Brahma Sokhyam. Brahma Sokhyam, yeah. Brahmans means spiritual or eternal. Both the impersonalist.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sir. Yeah. Brahman means spiritual or eternal. Both the impersonalist and the devotee seek eternal blissful life. In any case, it is advised that one become perfect. In other words, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 22:87, Asasanga e Vaishnavachara, Sri Sangi eka sadhu, Krishna bhaktara. To remain unattached to the modes of material nature, one should avoid associating with those who are asat, materialistic. There are two kinds of materialistic. One is attached to woman and scrolling. Omen and sense gratifications, and other is simply a non-devotee. On the positive side is the association with Mahatmas, and on the negative side is the avoidance of non-devotee and omen hunters.
So you see how this whole thing is described, So we need to learn how to recognize such people and take association with the right kind of devotees. If we do this, then this human life has become very successful. But if we don't do it, and we go on with our so-called materialistic kind of a sense gratification, then our position is going to be very sorry. Again and again and again, we have to suffer the consequence. Right?
If a human being is engaged in sinful, irreligious activities, either because of bad association or because of his failure to control his senses, then such a person will certainly develop a personality full of material desires. He thus becomes majorly towards others, greedy and always anxious to exploit the bodies of women. When the mind is so polluted, one becomes violent, aggressive, and without the authority of Vedic injunctions, slaughters innocent animals for sense gratification. Worshipping the ghosts and spirits, the bewildered person falls fully into the grip of unauthorized activities and thus goes to hell. where he receives a material body infected by the darkest modes of nature. In such degraded body, he unfortunately continues to perform inauspicious activities that greatly increase his future unhappiness. And therefore, he again accepts a similar material body. What possible happiness can there be for one who engages in the inactivities inevitably terminating in death?
Yes. This is the opposite of serving those people who are not Mahatmas. If you serve people who are interested in sex life, persons who are playthings in the hand of a woman, then that's the consequence. I don't think this is very nice. Taking birth and dying and taking birth and dying is not a business of any sane man. I don't think that is very nice. It's very, very painful. So therefore, an intelligent person, since he has got this human life, he should try to put a stop to that. Yes, labdva sudur labam. What is that? 11.
929.
See here, this is intelligent man job. Intelligent man job is to wake up and surrender to the right person. Now that he has got human life, now that he missed it. Please read.
After many, many births and deaths, one achieves the rare human form of life, which although temporary affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being.
Yes, and that is the purpose of human life. Human life is to find a solution to this cycle of birth and death. It is not man to find a solution for eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That automatically is there already. Is there any day you didn't have any food to eat? Is there any animal in the jungle don't have any food to eat, starving? No, there's no such incidents. But there is one thing lacking, that is Krishna consciousness. That's why it says one who has got human life quickly, it says here, quickly should find a solution to endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life. As long as his body has not fallen down and died. This is the purpose. There's no other purpose. Don't think that you have to become big scholar, big engineer, big this, big that. But small brain for Krishna. What is the use? Actually, no brain for Krishna. What is the use? That means we have wasted our human life. We have completely wasted our human life. So one who has wasted human life, then let the baby become animal again. Why you want to stay human being? Just like in school, if I fail, then I get demoted. When I fail, I don't get promoted. Does it make any sense? When I fail, I get promoted. There's no such school like that. Yes. So let us think very carefully. Not this Manava Seva. We have to do quickly Mahatma Seva. Yes? Yes? Hello?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. It's a very good title. Mahatma Seva is
Mahatma Seva, not Manava Seva.
Seva, yeah.
Yes? So please, as Indians, you should teach the whole world these things. All right, so anybody got any other questions? Because he has got a whole lot of questions there, which I think we'll answer some other time. Anybody has question relevant to this topic? Yes. Anybody? Everybody is clear on the subject?
Yes, Prabhu.
Only one person is saying. Everyone is
Yes.
silent.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay, then I think we will stop here then, huh? If nobody got any questions. All right. Thank you very much. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Glories to Srila
Thank
Prabhupada.
you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Prabhupada.